You stiff-necked people. You stiff-necked people, they're at it again. The Lord had called the Israelite, a group of stiff-necked people. Oh, when Moses was up there with him, getting the 2 tablets, the Lord had called Moses. You stiff-necked people all out there in the wilderness causing havoc. Oh, you better go and check on them. Hey, you stiff-necked people. Oh, yeah. Oh, you stiff-necked people. Ouch. We're gonna learn. We're gonna learn what those stiff-necked people are out there doing again. Yes, we're gonna learn. Cause chapter 11, woo, is on fire. Okay. Whew. David's out here in the church sleeping, waiting for me. I guess he done had no coffee today because it's 12:46 a.m. and I'm hype. I don't know, I'm so hot. I'm hype. Okay. Now, Israel abrupt turn to rebellion in the wilderness. What? Those people, they stiff-necked people. God had a reason to call them the stiff-necked people. Come on now. Woo, they're so full of rebellion. But we're going to learn about their rebellion state and what the Lord is going to do about it. What are they going to do to Moses? What will Moses say? What would Moses' father-in-law say after seeing all this mess? And he wanted to go home to his hometown, to his people. And Moses had to convince him to follow along. Come on, father-in-law. Come on, follow along with us. God gonna bless you. Gonna bless us too. Come on now. Whatever blessing God give upon me, I'm gonna share with you too. Come on. I want to know what Moses' father-in-law got to say about those stiff-necked people. And what God. Woo! Let's read so we could know what those stiff-necked people did. Oh my God! Chapter 11 is on fire. Now, when the people complained in the hearing of the Lord about their misfortune, the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled. Then the fire of the Lord burned against them and consumed some outlying part of the camp. Verse 2. But the people cried out to Moses, and Moses prayed to the Lord, and the fire abated. Verse 3. So that place was called Taberah, because the fire of the Lord burned against them. Verse 5. Verse 4. The rabble against them had a strong craving, and the Israelite also wept again and said, if only we had meat to eat. Ungratefulness. If only we had meat to eat. We remember the fish we used to eat in Egypt for nothing. The cucumbers, the melon, the leeks, the onion, and the garlic. Verse 6. But now our strength is dried up, and there is nothing at all but this manna to look at. Verse 7. Now the manna was like coriander seed, and its color was like the color of gum risen. Now 8. The people went around and gathered it, grind it in mills, and beat it in mortar, then boiled it in pots and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was like the taste of cakes baked with oil. Verse 9. When the dew fell on the camp in the night, the manna would fall with it. Verse 10. Moses heard their people weeping throughout their families, all at the entrance of their tent. Then the Lord became very angry, and Moses was displeased. 11. So Moses said to the Lord, why have you treated your servant so badly? Why have I not found favor in your sight, that you lay the burden of all these people on me? 12. Did I conceive all these people? Did I give birth to them, that you should say to me, carry them in your bosom, as a nurse carries a sucking child to the land that you on oath, promised on oath to their ancestors? Verse 13. Where am I to get meat to give to all these people? For they came weeping to me and said, give us meat to eat. 14. I am not able to carry all these people alone, for they are too heavy for me. 15. If this is the way you are going to treat me, put me to death at once, if I have found favor in your sight, and do not let me see my misery. 16. So the Lord said to Moses, gather for me 70 of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of the people and officers over them. Bring them to the tent of meeting and have them take their places there with you. 17. I will come down and talk with you there, and I will take some of the Spirit that is on you and put it on them, and they shall bear the burden of the people along with you, so that you will not bear it all by yourself. 18. And said to the people, consecrate yourself for tomorrow, and you shall eat meat, for you have wailed in the hearing of the Lord, saying, if only we had meat to eat. Surely it was better for us in Egypt. Therefore the Lord will give you meat, and you shall eat. 19. You shall eat not only 1 day, or 2 days, or 5 days, or 7 days, or 20 days. 20. But for a whole month, until it comes out of your nostrils and become loathsome to you, because you have rejected the Lord who is among you, and have well before him, saying, why did we ever leave Egypt? 21. But Moses said, the people, I am with number 600,000 on foot. And you said, I will give them meat, and they may eat for a whole month. 22. Are there enough flocks and herds to slaughter for them? Are there enough fish in the sea to catch for them? 23. The Lord said to Moses, is the Lord power limited? Now you shall see whether my word shall come true for you or not. 24. So Moses went out and told the people the words of the Lord, and he gathered 70 elders of the people and placed them all around the tent. 25. Then the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke to him, and took some of the Spirit that was on him and put it on the 70 elders. And when the Spirit rested upon them, they prophesied, but they did not do so again. 26. 2 men remained in the camp, one named Elder, and the other named Medad. And the Spirit rested on them. They were among those registered, but they had not gone out to the tent. And so they prophesied in the camp. 27. And a young man ran and told Moses, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. 28. And Joshua, son of Nun, the assistant of Moses, one of his chosen men, said, My Lord Moses, stop them. 29. But Moses said to him, Are you jealous for my sake? Would that all the Lord people were prophet, and that the Lord would put his spirit on them? 30. And Moses and the elders of Israel returned to the camp. 31. Then a wind went out from the Lord, and it brought quail from the sea, and let them fall beside the camp, about a day journey on this side, and a day journey on the other side, all around the camp, about 2 cubits deep on the ground. 32. So the people worked all that day and night, and all the next day, gathering the quails. And the least anyone gathered was 10 homer. And they spread them out for themselves all around the camp. 33. But while the meat was still between their teeth, before it was consumed, the anger of the Lord kindled against the people, and the Lord struck the people with a very great plague. 34. So that plague was called Kibroth Hitavah, because there they buried the people who had the craving. 35. From Kibroth Hatavah, the people journeyed to Hazeroth. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. It is best to lower your anger when you are talking about the Lord. Amen. It is best to lower your anger. It is best to stop complaining about the goodness of the Lord. It is best to remember the goodness of the Lord instead of complaining all the time. For everything the Lord has done is good. For everything the Lord is doing is great. So it is best to rest upon the Lord. Now, let me get to the meat of it. Yes, let's get down. Number 1 to number 35. Amen. Number 1 to number 35. Let me tell you, Israel abrupt turn to rebellion and the wilderness. That's what it is talking about. The turnaround. They flip. They flip. Those people, they probably have ADD, HDD, ADHD, and all the D's. Thank you for Christina for reminding me. My daughter is up at least. At least my daughter is up. My son is passed out. But obviously, it's 1 a.m. in the morning. Somebody had to go to sleep in this house. Okay, now, chapter 1 to 10. Okay? Chapter 1 to 10 portray Israel as very obedient to the Lord every command. Until hunger strike. Okay. Portray Israel of as very obedient to the Lord's command, right? Chapter 1 to 10 of Numbers. Okay? Now, suddenly, unexpectedly, Israel began to complain about the hardship of the wilderness and to rebel against the Lord and Moses. Man, those people got nerve. That's why the Lord called them the stiff-necked people. Come on now. Whew, I guess they still didn't learn nothing in the wilderness. They still didn't learn nothing in Exodus. They still didn't learn nothing when Moses had struck the two stones. And then the Levites had to go and kill a few when it was like, who is with the Lord? And then the rebellion ones didn't answer, so the Levites went and wiped them down. Okay. But they started complaining against God. Now, saying, I was better off in Egypt. I had tomatoes, potatoes, tomatoes. What's that song? What's that song? There's a song. Come on now, tell me the song. Potatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. Come on, give me the song, girl.
I got beans.
I got beans, green.
Potatoes.
Tomatoes, tomatoes, lettuce, tomatoes, green pie, sweet potato pie. They got all that. They got turkey and ham and all that. They had no ham because they Israel like they can eat pork. But they got turkey and ham. They got all that, you know? That's why they was complaining to God. I had this and I had that. So stop complaining. Okay, let me get down to verse 1. That's just a breakdown of, overall breakdown of verse 1 to 35 that I just gave you before I went crazy and start talking about they got potatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. Ooh, okay. Seriously now. Serious. I had too much caffeine. And it was decaf. Half a teaspoon in my protein shake. I know my protein shake did not have no caffeine in it to keep me that hype at 1 a.m. Okay. Now, verse 1. It talks about, let me read verse 1 to you, since I'm in a happy mood. Now, when the people complain in the hearing of the Lord about their misfortune, now when the people complain in the hearing of the Lord about their misfortune, the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled. Then the fire of the Lord burned against them and consumed some outlying part of the camp. Now, the fire of the Lord presumably originate from the fiery cloud of the divine presence in the midst of the camp. And Numbers 9, verse 15 to 16. You know, when there was in the camp, the fire, let me read it for you, so beat me explaining it again. 15 to 16. On the day of the tabernacle was set up, the clouds covered the tabernacle, the tent of the covenant, and from evening until morning, it was over the tabernacle, having the appearance of fire. It was always so. The cloud covered by day and appear and by day and the appearance of fire by night. Okay? Remember, the cloud was also there when as giving them direction of where to go when they was fleeing Egypt, and also was seen as a fire of protection around them at night. So that same fire protection strike. Disobedient people, stiff-necked people. Okay, now. Also in Leviticus 10, verse 1 and 2. Okay, that's pretty much the same thing that I just and also in Leviticus 10, verse 1 and 2. Okay? Fire by night and stuff like that. Now, let's go down to verse 4. Verse 4 of chapter 11. Verse 4. It says, the rabble among them had a strong craving. And the Israelite also wept again and says, if only we had meat to eat. Shameful people. Come on now. If only we had meat to eat. The rabble is a disorderly mob. A group of mobsters, disobedient, stiff-necked people of non-Israelites who travel with Israel out of Egypt. Remember Exodus 12 verse 38. Yes, they are called a mixed crowd. Remember we talked about there was not only the Israelites who came, there was also some Egyptian, right? Some other nations, whoever they are, this is a mixed crowd. All the people that was not Israelites, that was not children of God, mixed crowds. They probably were slaves who came, war come, whatever, they fight, whatever, so mixed crowd. Okay, slaves they had bought from on sale, 2-for-1 special, whatever. Why are you laughing? Slaves, that was not Israelites, or the Egyptian who saw God's power. They said, oh, God did all this. Let me go away with him so he could protect me because there's a lot of work left behind in Egypt. I don't know who's going to do it, so let me follow them. Whatever the reason, the crowd went. There was a mixed crowd of people with them. Now, you could also see that on Leviticus 24 verse 10. Let me read Leviticus 24 verse 10 for you. Leviticus 24 verse 10. So you can have an idea of that. A man, Leviticus 24 verse 10. It's a man whose mother was an Israelite and whose father was an Egyptian came out among the people of Israel, and the Israelite woman son and a certain Israelite began fighting in the camp. Mixed people, mixed crowd, half breed. When you have a puppy that's not the same, they call it mix, half breed. Now, let's get down to Exodus 12 verse 38. 38. Let me read that for you so you could have that on your library of notes. So I hope you're taking notes, trying to make this reading fun for you. Drink a whole lot of coffee to stay up instead of me yawning every night. Try to be up around that time. 12 verse 38. And a mixed crowd also went up with them, and livestock in great numbers, both flocks and herds. Yes. Okay, a mixed crowd. Now, verse 6 through 9, you talk about manna was a special food from the Lord, provided daily in the desert for the Israelites. He's explained that again in Exodus 16. When the people was complaining, oh my God, I'm hungry, Moses, I'm hungry, I want some food. I want food, I'm hungry. So God told Moses, guess what? I'm going to show the people my power. I'm going to let them know who is boss, who's in charge of this crowd. So when the people wake up in the morning, they saw food and fed them. Food was invading them all over the floor. And then, as always, the stiff-necked people, the Israelites and the mixed crowd, did not listen to instruction that Moses said. He said, do not take more than you need for that single day. Only take more on Friday night. On Friday morning, when the manna come, take enough for Saturday, because Saturday is the Sabbath. Friday, sundown to Saturday sundown is the Sabbath. Take enough, because on Saturday you're not going to find food. Some stiff-necked people, disobedient people, didn't get none. I guess they got hungry. They went outside looking for food. They found the floor bare, nothing there except grass and dirt. They find no bread, nothing from heaven. So the manna was the bread, food from heaven. Okay? Okay. Now, after they complain about the manna, we're going to move up to verse 10 to 35. Okay? The last part. Okay? Get yourself ready, because it's a juicy explanation. I just love it. Fire. Now, verse 12. Let's get down to verse 12. Let me read verse 12, because I just love Moses on that part. On point. Verse 12. Did I conceive all these people? Did I give birth to them? That you should say to me, carry them in your bosom, as a nurse carries a suckling child, to the land that you promised on oath to their ancestors? Come on, I didn't bear them. I didn't make the promise to their family. I don't even know their family. Moses like, I don't even know their family. I was not with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I don't even know those people. Now you want me to carry all those stiff-necked people, disobedience, troublesome group, to a land that you promised their family? Come on now, stop it. Okay, let me get down. Moses, verse 12. Let me get the professional look on me. Moses, rhetorical question implies that the Lord and not Moses is the one who conceived and gave birth to Israel. Though Moses argues the Lord and not Moses should be responsible for nursing Israel as a sucking child. This female image of mother and wet nurse for the Lord are rare but not unique. In Deuteronomy 32 verse 18, it gives similar example. Let's come on now. Oh, is the next book of the Bible. After you leave Numbers, is Deuteronomy. We're going to go up to 32, verse 18. 32, oh, verse 18. Open it up to 32. Now, 32, verse 18. Let me read the rest. It said, these female image of mother and wet nurse are these female image of mothers and wet nurse for the Lord are rare but not unique. In Deuteronomy 32 verse 18, Isaiah 66 verse 12 to 13 also give the same example. Okay, let me show you what I mean. You were unmindful of the rock that bore you. You forgot the God who gave you birth. What? God who gave you birth? Yeah. Did it say Moses gave you birth? God who gave you birth. So who's in charge of the people? God. Come on. That's why Moses is like, what? I didn't give birth to those people. You did. Moses just threw the Bible right back at God. It's so good. Woo. Moses just threw the Bible right back at God. Yes, he did. Okay. Isaiah 66, verse 12 to 13. Let me read that to you. For thus says the Lord, I will extend prosperity to her like a river, and the wealth of the nation like an overflow stream. And you shall nurse and be carried on her arm, and cradle on her knees. Not 13. As the mother comfort her child, so I will comfort you. You shall be comforted in Israel. So who's the mother? Who's in charge of the people? Was Moses right or was Moses right? I don't know. But based on those two verses, the Lord speaks. So therefore, oh well then. Now let's continue. Let's continue. So Moses was right when he said, you are the one who bring them out. You make the promises. That's your children. So handle it. Okay, verse 15. God, don't strike me when I said that. I'll just. Verse 15. Let's continue on. 15. Let me read 15 to you. If this is the way you are going to treat me, put me to death at once. If I have found favor in your sight, and do not let me see my misery. You put me in charge of all those stiff-necked people, those angry mob. They're ready to attack me. They're ready to kill me. You put me there. Come on now. You want to kill me or something? You want to get me out of my misery? You get me on this mess with these stiff-necked people? Those disobedient crowd, those mob, those Israelites try to fight. Everybody try to fight me for food. They want meat. The crowd want meat. They're not even Israelites. They just came along for the ride. They just want a piece of the promised land too. Because, hey, you put 10 plagues in their country, so they fled. They fled with us. Now they're causing havoc in the middle of us. What? You put me in charge of all these people. Even the Israelites, you made promises to them. They try. You must not love me. Moses was saying, you must not love me. I did. Come on now. Let me continue on. Like Moses, several biblical leaders plead with God to put them to death when caught in desperate circumstances, right? Don't you sometimes ask God, take me out of my misery. Oh Lord, take me out. It's like a mother when the kids are driving you crazy. Oh my God, stay away from me! You evil children. Why did God give me those kids to handle? Why can't God give me some better children? That's what Moses was saying. When all mothers have said that sometimes when they're hot-tempered and stress is overloading. Thank God I got good children. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. My kids are perfect. God gave me the kids that I could handle, because I know if I couldn't handle them, I'd smack them down. Okay. That's what Moses should have done. Smack them down. Okay. Anyway, some of the leaders Moses was not the first one who said that. Okay. Now, open up the Bible so I can give you some of the examples of what other leaders were calling out. God, take my life. I can't take no more. Examples include the prophet Elijah. Yes. Elijah was saying, God, take me away. I'm sure he didn't have no car gun to relax on. But he was saying, take me away. 1 King 19 verse 4. 1 King 19 verse 4. Okay? Open up your Bible to 1 King 19, verse 4. Okay? He said, but he himself went a day journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under a solitary bloom tree. He asked that he might die. Is it enough now, O Lord? Take away my life, for I am no better than my ancestors. Take away my life. Take away. Elijah was crying, take away my life. God, I'm not better than my own ancestors. I'm not better than Moses. I'm not better than all of them. Take away my life. I guess he learned a lesson from Moses. Okay, he was crying the same cry Moses was doing. Now open it up to Jeremiah. Come on, let's move it up to Jeremiah 20, verse 17. Jeremiah. Come on now. Let's open it up. Open it up. Okay? Jeremiah was saying the same thing. Ooh, come on, Jeremiah. My hand is tired. It's late. Mm, yes, he was not the only one saying the same thing. No, he was not. No, he was not. No, he was not. No, you were not. No, he was not the only one singing the same song of despair. He was not the only one singing the same song of despair. He was not the only one. I'm trying to find a correct verse for you. I know there was one more. Let me look it up for you. Uh-huh. Oh, God, I'm going. Oh, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm going. Keep going. Uh-huh. Verse 4, verse 3. Is it? Yeah. Jonah. Verse 3. Jonah 4, verse 3. He said, and now, O Lord, please take my life from me, for it is better for me to die than live. Jesus, take my life. So, Jonah, verse 4, verse 3. And the judge Samson, and Judge 16. Judge 16. Judge 16, verse 30. Is it verse 30? I believe it is verse 30. Let me read that to him. Then Samson said, let me die with the Philistine. He strained with all his might, and the house fell on the Lord and all the people who were in it. So those he killed at his death were more than those he killed during his life. I guess when Samson wanted to go, he went and stopped. When the Bible said that the Lord, right? The house fell on the Lord. Did not talk about Jehovah Jireh, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. But okay, so when they talk about the Lord, we talk about the King of the God, but fell on the Lord, the people that was there, the the governors, the missionaries, the governor, the senators, those who are in charge, the kings, the queen, whatever, those who are in charge. Okay, so they died. So obviously Moses was in the right place. Well, oh well. So he was not the only one who was crying, Lord, if I have found favor in your sight, kill me, kill me, kill me. He should have stick it out a little bit more. Then he's like, Lord, if I find favor in your sight, bring me to the promised land. Let me live among them. But that's another story for another day. Okay. Now, so you find there was Elijah, Jeremiah, Jonah, Simpsons, right? All did the same thing that Moses did. Cry death. Because when trouble comes, too much headache, too much stress, okay, they do that. Now, let's continue on to verse 16 to 17. Verse 16 and 17, he said, So the Lord said to Moses, Gather for me 70 of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of the people and officers over them. Bring them to the tent of meeting and have them take their place with you. 17. I will come down and talk with you there, and I will take some of the spirit that is on you and put it on them, and they shall bear the burden of the people along with you, so that you will not bear it all by yourself. So, verse 16 and 17, you talk about an alternative version of the story. Jethro, remember when Jethro came to visit? Okay, Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, offer a similar situation, a similar solution of Moses sharing leadership with 70 elders on Exodus 18, verse 13 to 26. Exodus 18, verse 13 to 26. That's when Jethro came to visit and told Moses, you know what? You was on your feet all day. All day, from sun up to sundown. You never rest. All those people coming, you're gonna burn out. You're not gonna last this journey. You better have people in charge of here, a shop, and be a judge over here, big court, small court, and you be the Supreme Court. They be the whatever court, city court, county court, whatever, and then until they just bring the big cases to you. Then you could judge over that. Spread the details, spread the work around. You're gonna burn out. So when Moses was complaining to God and said, you know what, God, you bring all those people there, they're complaining to me. I'm not their mother. I didn't bother. I didn't make no promises to their ancestors. Come on now. So God said, you know what, Moses, no problem. Get 70 elders. I'm gonna do my magic. I'm gonna do me. Okay? And the divine spirit, which is on verse 17, is often associated with leaders and prophets in the Bible. Judge 3, verse 10. It can be transferred from one person to another. In verse 24 and 25 of Numbers 11. It says, So Moses went out and told the people the words of the Lord, and he gathered 70 elders of the people and placed them all around the tent. Then the Lord came down in a cloud and spoke to him, and took some of the spirit that was on him and put it on the 70 elders. And when the spirit rested upon them, they prophesied, but they did not do so again. Why? Because God had the juice. God got the power, right? He got the power. Okay? It's happened on Exodus 18, 7, 13 to 36. Spread the duties that happen in the church too. Don't let the pastors hold, be the janitor, be the cleaner, be the bishop, be the secretary, do everything. No! Spread the duties. Come on now. Spread the duties around the church. Come on. You went to school for this. You got the skills. Spread the duties so you could concentrate on overseeing everything, but you see the big stuff. You prepare yourself for your sermons to teach your flocks. Spread the duties so you have more free time to really concentrate and pray and do everything that's necessary to grow your church and grow your ministry. Save souls. Spread it. Don't hold it on to yourself. The divine spirit was spread to 70 people to help Moses out. Okay? Jude and Judge 3 verse 10. The divine spirit was spread. It's transferred from one person to another, which I just showed you. Verse 24 to 25. Took some spirit from Moses, spread it around to the 70. Also, when you look in 2 Kings, 2 King 2, verse 9 and 10. Spirit gotta go. Spirit gotta spread. Spirit gotta spread. Spirit gotta spread. Yeah, spirit gotta spread. Yeah. Spirit gotta spread. Spirit gotta spread. Spirit gotta Now, Second King. Second King. Let me read Second King 2, verse 9 and 10. He said, when they had crossed Elijah, Elijah said to Elisha, tell me what I may do for you before I am taken from you. Elisha said, please, let me inherit a double share of your spirit. Ooh. He responded, you have asked a hard thing, yet if you see me as I am being taken from you, I will be granting you. If not, it will not. Okay? Now, Second King 2, verse 9 and 10. Now, let's move up to verse 18. The command to the people to consecrate themselves involves spiritual purification and preparation before encountering the holy presence of the Lord. That's not the first time God was telling the people on verse 18, consecrate yourself. You can't stand in front of my presence like that. With your sinful nature, dirtiness nature, change your life, change your attitude, right? And the Lord said, and said to the people, consecrate yourself for tomorrow, and you shall eat meat. For you have wailed in the hearing of the Lord, saying, if only we had meat to eat. Surely it was better for us in Egypt. Therefore the Lord will give you meat, and you shall eat. Woo! Get yourself holy for the Lord now. Don't be ungrateful. Ungratefulness may kill you. Now, okay, verse 25. Verse 25. Let's get out of verse 25. I just read that before. Okay, then the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke to him and took some of the spirit and poured it on him, and said 70 elders. Okay, and began to prophesy, right? The elders, the elders temporarily prophesize or mediate messages from the Lord, but then cease. This suggests that Moses remained the one authoritative prophet or mediator of the Lord's word to the people. Moses, God only took some. He didn't take all of Moses' power. He took some because Moses was feeling overwhelmed. He was feeling too much pressured. So God said, take 70 people. They pretty much the same instruction that Moses' father-in-law Jethro gave him. He said, take some people and spread it around. God said to Moses pretty much the same thing. Take 70 people. I will put my spirit on them. They will prophesy. After they finish prophesying, that's it. It's gone. Okay? Now, verse 26 to 30. The scene appear to assume the tent of meeting, which contained the tabernacle of the ark, which is on Numbers 1 verse 1. I read that so many times, but you should have that by heart. Is located outside the camp of Israelite tribe on Exodus 33 verse 7 to 11. Exodus 33 7 to 11. It appears, right? The scene appears to assume the ark appears. Let me read that. The scene appears to assume the tent of meeting, which contained the tabernacle and the ark on Numbers 1 verse 1. 2 is located outside the camp of Israelite tribe, which is on Exodus 33 verse 7 to 11. Another tradition in number places the tent and its content in the middle of the Israelite camp in Exodus 2 verse 2. One would say it was outside, then he said it was inside. So another tradition said that it was in the middle of the Israelite camp on Exodus 2 verse 2. Not Exodus, I'm sorry. In Numbers in Numbers 2 verse 2. Okay? In Numbers 2 verse 2. It was in the middle of the Israelite camp. Now continue on to verse 31. The two scenes of the Spirit distributed upon the 70 elders on verse 16 to verse 30. And the wind bearing the quail share the same key word in Hebrew, which is wah, ruah, wah, which mean either wind or spirit. Pretty much the same thing. A similar quail story occurs in Exodus 16 verse 13. Remember when they was crying, I had too much bread and they wanted some meat? God said, okay, fine, forget it. The next day they're going to have meat. They had so much meat. Okay, the next day. After they complained to Moses. So obviously it's not the first time they complained to Moses about not having meat. Okay? It was not the first time. Although in number the quail became a mean of judgment and not favor because of the people's rejection of the manna in verse 4 to 6. The first time they got the manna, they were so happy. Oh my God, I got manna, I eat. Okay? They was happy to find food. Even though they was complaining, God, you didn't give me no food. You put me in the middle of the desert with nothing. I had this and this. They was complaining, I had this and that. I was better off in Egypt. The next day, God said, okay, prepare yourself. You're going to have food. Now, then they ate so much bread, wafers, and all that. They said, okay, I'm tired of that. I want some meat. Complain to Moses. So, in Exodus 16, verse 13, quail came out from heaven. It was a blessing. They was happy. They had meat. They had everything. Now, for them to repeat the same old story again of disobedience, they didn't learn anything. They didn't learn anything yet. If they did, they would not say what they did. So now they went back to Moses and complained, oh God bring me here, not doing nothing for me. I had onions, I had garlic, I had fish, I had cucumbers, I got melons, I got this and I got that. And in Egypt. After God said, why? He brought them out with his arms stretched wide. You wickedness people, hard-headed people, bring you out because of the promise he made to your ancestors. And then you hard-headed people got the nerve to say, I didn't do nothing for you. I was better off because of food. So guess what God said? Oh my God. God said, you know what? I'm going to choke the food out of your throat. You better eat this food. I'm going to give you so much food, you're gonna hate seeing food. You're going to hate seeing it. You're going to come out your nostrils. It's just like a kid who's being so greedy, eats so much, and then the food just out of their nostrils. You ever see a baby try to feed the baby? They eat too much, they can't control themselves, the food just come out. That's why God said, the food gonna come out your nostrils until it pop. Anyway, because they rejected the blessing that God gave them, so now the food gonna be a curse to them because a lot of them gonna be dead. Now, verse 32, a hammer is a unit of dry measure equals to several bushels. They had several bushels each. All they was taking, they were just taking the food out of, oh yeah, I'm getting mine. I'm getting mine. They was getting the food. And God went, poof, everybody who got the food died. That means you're ungrateful. You was too busy complaining. You don't need to be in the promised land. That's one less mouth for God to feed. Don't ever bite the hand that feeds you. Always remember the hand that feeds you. That's the moral of this one. Remember the hand that feeds you. Stop being so ungrateful. A lot of us forget where God took you from. You forget when you had no money. You forget when you had no home. You forget when you had no children, you was asking God for a child. You forget when God give you that child. Oh God, why give me this evil child? Oh my God, my head's going spinning. You forget all those fasting you did. You forget the fasting you did for that job, and then you complaining why God give me this low paying job. You forget. Stop being ungrateful. You forget when you had no food in your house, and now you have so much. You have enough overflowing with blessing. I can't forget where God took me from because I know when I had no food in my house. There was a time in 2006, 2007, 2002, not 2006, I'm sorry, 2006, I had so much food. Food was flowing everywhere. Good God, heavy. Hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. I remember a time in 2003, right? January 2003, December, January, February, March. I'm taking the bus. I'm walking to school with a stroller and a baby in my hand, a $20 stroller that was so weak, the snow was pushing the child away. I was trying to hold on to the stroller in my book bag, walking to school in the snow, in the cold, no diaper to put on my child. I remember where God took me from. And every day I thank God because I look at my life now, I got 4 cars parked in my yard in a trailer. 4 cars. And the time I had none. I was taking a bus. And I had a brand new car. Brand new. 2002. 2001. Brand new 2001 Honda Civic parked in the back of my house with double locks on it. Couldn't even drive it. I had the key and I couldn't even drive it because there was hateful hearts. Parked it. Couldn't even drive it and I had the key. But God is a God of miracles. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. I remember the time when I was going to be foreclosed on. And an investor hurry up and bought my house. Now I own my own house, cash free, mortgage free. I'm living in peace. Now, I thank God, not only I got my kids got their own. I thank God for providing. I remember when I didn't have. When you become so ungrateful, you forget where you've been. You forget where God took you from. And you start complaining, why you put me in this place? Why you put me there? God is trying to bring you to a better place. Right? I thank God for the past. I thank God I experienced that. So when blessing comes my way, I say it's only God. It's only God. When I think about what I went through back in 2002 until now, oh, hallelujah, I thank God. Only God can do what he did in my life. Right? God said he will prosper you. Stay faithful. He will prosper you. The children of Israel had prosperity in their hand and they let it go. They had riches in their hand and they let it go. They had happiness in their hand and they let it go. Don't let God leave your hand for him to strike you. Stop complaining about what you don't have and start blessing God for the roof you have over your head. For the roof you have over your head. Start blessing. Start thinking. Start rejoicing because you're serving a living God. From where he take me from and where I am now is completely a different lifestyle. May the peace of God be with you. Wherever life journey bring you, always be grateful and never have a moment of complaint, even in bad times, even in difficult times. Never complain. Always say it's all for the glory of God, right? Through all my hardship, I never complain. I would say, thank you, Lord, for providing a roof over my head because I'm still in the land of the living. So therefore, as long as you have breath of life in you, you still have a chance to get out and prosper and make good of yourself. Peace be unto you. Shalom. May the glory of God be with you. May the glory of God prosper you. May the glory of God shine upon you. May you have a grateful heart, a humble heart, a repentance heart, a remembering spirit to remember where God had took you from. Shalom. Peace. Share this video and follow us so you can know when the next video is coming up. Shalom.